In the sure travel spirit of balancing classic destinations with new discoveries, Bratislava sounded a fine mix. A flight north with Etihad allowed for some compelling reading up on this unique city sitting on both sides of the Danube River. As much Austrian as Hungarian, it is the only national capital that borders two countries, and as a result has seen more than its share of transfer of ownership through the ages.
Bratislava is one of the smallest capital cities in Europe, but one with a big heart. Its winding cobblestone streets have seen the coronation parades of 19 kings, making it the perfect place to have a right royal time when in Slovakia.
Even the manhole covers carry the royal seal that marks the route of a coronation. If you want history, you've come to the right place.
Dagmar, how did Bratislava become the amazing city it is today?
Well, you know, my city, it was always the crossroads of different nations. It was inhabited since the last 2,500 years, and in the 5th century AD, my nation came here from the north of Europe, what is today the borders between Poland and Russia. This city gained a high position in the beginning of the 16th century when it became the capital, when it became the coronation place, the place for the meetings of the parliament, the seat of the archbishop. The second golden period came to this city in the 18th century when all different kinds of famous, at the time, musicians, painters, artists came to this city and they were working here and they left their trace here.
Mozart, Haydn, Liszt, Bartók and Beethoven all performed in Bratislava. Perfectly understandable to Dagmar.
What do you love the most about the city?
It was beautifully renovated in the last few years. The bright colors of the houses, it's the pubs where the people can bring the local wines, they can bring the beer. It's the funny statues that were installed in this city, and it's the atmosphere of the city.
With Slovakia's post-communist independence, its reputation as a seat of learning and skill has brought huge investment and prosperity, plus the funding of some very entertaining public works. Though they build cutting-edge German cars and 4x4s here, they're also an obviously sentimental people.
The old part of town is strictly for pedestrians, unless of course you're in one of these, as the locals call it, a presporatchik.
The narrowest house in all Europe is one of the fun sights, and there's a real journey back in time. This frontier city of the kingdom was valuable for trade and strategic reasons, so its sometimes stormy past makes sense, particularly as you stare up at the daunting clifftop turrets of Devon Castle, the much fought over high ground in several battles through the centuries.
What we can see today here, this started to be developed in the 13th century. Until the 15th century, these grounds was built up. At the beginning of the 19th century, unfortunately, Napoleon Bonaparte made a big explosion here, and so today we can see the result of his work.
The castle sets off all kinds of associations as you hear that the infamous Carpathian Mountains of Count Dracula begin mere miles from here. Joanne found a well, reported as 55 meters deep, but they have their own way of proving it.
So Dagmar, let's see how many seconds this takes.
Okay, so let's go.
That is about 7 seconds.
The Danube and the rivers which flow into it make water a defining feature of the local architecture, and have certainly done so for the city's most famous modern landmark, the Novi Most Bridge. That it allows passage across the water is almost incidental. It's far better known for the UFO restaurant on top of the bridge. It's the perfect conversation piece and icebreaker for first dates when in Bratislava.
Thank you very much. Martin, this beer is so refreshing and it perfectly matches the view.
Yeah, there's a lot of beautiful landmarks behind us, and we are on a bridge which goes Novi Most, so it's kind of like a new bridge, and we toll 85 meters. And we have also observation deck, which is 95 meters, and also we serve great food.
Is this a traditional Slovakian dish?
It's kind of traditional, it's kind of fancy kitchen. It's a blood sausage, onion pearls, and it's potato roasted there, and basil oil, and gherkin sauce. So it's beautiful meat.
It's very good.
A brisk zorb in the